to the Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. And I want to thank you for staying with me throughout the season. It's been a long season, it's been a hard season, and I know that some people might be getting bored. I get excited for every game. I get disappointed watching some of the games like tonight, but I am excited for every game. And so we get a chance Sunday. We're going to come back and play Miami again. We lost tonight 108, to 95. And we play them again Sunday, the Miami Heat at 3 o'clock. But, the season is full of ups and downs, mostly downs for our Pistons. But if you follow the NBA, it is intriguing to me how many teams go through good stretches and bad stretches. So Miami had lost 4 in a row coming into tonight's game. And they just got done winning 11 out of 14. So it's real interesting, and they have a good defensive team. So they made us take some bad shots. We chose to take some bad shots. Especially in the first half, I thought we were only down by 2 at halftime, and we forced bad shots, and we had 10 turnovers, and we were still within 2 points. But then the third quarter, they held us to 18 points, and that was the name of that game. So, yeah, it was tough. It wasn't certainly one of our best games. We struggled to shoot. We struggled to shoot from three. And, Cade, Ivey, Fournier, Umude, and Sasser combined 4 for 24 on threes. And so Fontecchio was fantastic. He was on fire, and it's tough. We played without Ausar tonight. And so he has asthma. So that was what I heard, that he has asthma. So it's interesting to me. Like he played 43 minutes just not too long ago, and then now he's sat out 3 games in a row because he has asthma. So I hope he's okay. I mean, I love watching him play. His brother last night was 20 points and 10 rebounds. So, man, good for a man. Like I said, I like watching Ausar so much. I watch the Houston Rockets just so I can see a man play because he plays so much like Ausar. So, yeah, Fontecchio had 24 points. He was 5 for 8 on threes. He was on fire. And again, he's just been a really great pickup. But yeah, like I said, the first half we played bad. We forced up shots and we had 10 turnovers, but we shot 43% from the floor and 26% on threes. But I guess we kind of did the same thing in the second half, and they just scored better. They just made more shots. So, and a lot of that was again our turnovers. So they scored lots of points, 33 points off our 18 turnovers, and that's hard to overcome. They had 8 turnovers and we scored 12 points off their turnover. So, yeah, it was not exactly a great half. And Cade was questionable coming into tonight's game with knee soreness. And again, Grimes, I don't know what his knee has not ever been the same. And so he's 0 for 17. His last 17 threes, he's missed 17 threes in a row. So I am sure that's something to do with why he's missing. It could be something to do with why Cade didn't shoot as good tonight. But like Monty said, everybody is hurt this time of year. So just bring up, Cade had a bad game tonight, but I just wanted to, there's always stats floating around out there about Cade especially. And first 25 games when he played with Killian and with different lineup, he averaged 21 points. In the last 25 games, he's averaged 24 points. First 25 games, 7 assists. Second 25, 7.8 assists. And that's significant. It doesn't, only 8/10 of it, it's almost one more assist a game, but it's significant. 4.1 turnovers in the first 25 games, 2.9 in the last 25 games. So that's huge improvement. 46% from the floor, first 25, 53. Big raise. And 32% on threes, 41% the last 25 games. So that is huge. His true shooting is really, really good. So, yeah, we got to hope that his leg gets better by Sunday. And, it's a quicker turnaround playing an afternoon game again. Like I said, then we have to turn around and play the Celtics Monday. So they're the best team in the NBA, record-wise and point differential-wise. And so heard Hollinger and Duncan, they have a really good podcast, and they were talking about the best passers in the NBA, and they went back and forth about a lot of guys, and they decided that Jokic, the Joker, is the best passer, and followed closely by Halliburton. And then they tried to name some other guys who they thought were good, really good, and they agreed on Luka. And then after that, it was Trey. And then um, they didn't really have. They tried to think of some other names who might be possible, and about the only other guy that they came up with the potential to be one of the best passers was Cade Cunningham. So that was cool to see. Um, yeah, it was that last game, the game before this. It was when we won the game, and it was cool that Cade against the Raptors. Cade went to the scores table. He was checking to come in, and about the time he started checking in the last 5 minutes or whatever of the game, Sasser got on fire. Even though he had struggled the first half, but he knocked down a bunch of shots. So Cade told Monty let Sasser finish up, and I thought that was very unselfish of Cade, and that was being a really great teammate. And yeah, I love things I see. Tonight, Ivey drove in for a layup and he got knocked down, no foul, but he was laying on the floor. He twisted his ankle. He came back and played. He was in a lot of pain, and you could tell he really turned his ankle. And the Heat went down to the other end of the court, and not Asar, Duran fouled the guy right under the basket, under the Miami basket. And as soon as that foul was called, and the whistle blew and the game stopped, he noticed that Ivey was laying on the floor in pain at the other end. He sprints to the other end of the court, and Cade was not too far behind. And that is the kind of team that we have, and it's a real positive thing, I think. So, Fontecchio again, 34 minutes, 9 for 16, really efficient. And, 24 points on 16 shots, 5 for 8 on threes, 1 for 2 on free throws, 6 rebounds. So good game for Simone. Stu, good game, 37 minutes, 4 for 6, 1 for 2 on threes. And again, I don't know how to say it, but he plays good. He does his role. He's comfortable playing his role, but he took 2 threes, and not that he doesn't get a lot of touches either, but he plays a lot of minutes. He had 6 rebounds and 2 assists and only 1 turnover. So he scored 10 points and he was minus 11. Duran playing against Bam. There's the comparisons everybody always tries to bring up, and it was a pretty cool battle. And Duran gets a lot of dunks. Duran was 7 for 9, and it just seems like that's what he is every night. But he didn't get to the free throw line as much, so he was only 1 for 2, but 17 rebounds. And the truth is, Bam took him to school a few times, and made some great moves. Bam had 22 points and 10 for 14, and he was 1 for 1 on threes. But he had 9 rebounds and he had 3 blocks, so he is a great shot blocker, better than Duran. But Duran took half as many shots and scored not as many points, but he was close and he out rebounded him by quite a bit. So anyway, that's going to be a fun thing to watch. But Bam put some good moves on him and scored inside on him too. So Cade, 31 minutes, he was 5 for 15, not a good percentage, 0 for 4 on threes, 1 for 2, 1 for 1 on free throws. He shot it technical. He never got any calls. He did get fouled going to the basket, and of course the refereeing, it was not the reason we lost. But there was one terrible call though. Fontecchio got knocked to the ground, and he fell down, and then Duncan Robinson's backpedaling doesn't see him there, and he trips over him, and then they called it a technical foul on Fontecchio for a flop, but it was clearly not a flop. And then Bam charged into one of our guys, and they called a charge on Bam, and they reviewed it. I can't, it seems like every time a team reviews it against the Pistons, the call gets overturned. So the call gets overturned, and so Bam, the basket counted, and it was going to be no basket. And then Duncan Robinson, he misses the free throw. Then Duncan Robinson makes a 3 off the missed free throw, and then they get a 5-point play when it should have been our ball going the other way, but that's just how the NBA goes. So Ivey, 38 minutes, 3 for 14, bad, 2 for 9 on threes. He is trying. I noticed, I mentioned before on previous podcasts how he needs to extend his arm all the way and not just stop it part way where he has a little bit of a bend in his arm, and he needs to extend it and then hold his follow through. And I saw him just really, he made one, and I could tell he held it for a long time. I mean, it was so much relief. Then the next time he gets it and he reaches up and he holds it and a long time, and you could tell he's really focusing on his follow through, and it goes in and out. And so that was a bummer. But yeah, he has just struggled. He had 6 rebounds, 9 assists, but he had 9 assists and in the first half, and he was 6 for 6 on free throws in the first half, and he got 0 free throws the second half. So yeah, he didn't have a great first half, and 4 turnovers. He just sometimes just gets into traffic and jumps up in the air and has nowhere to go, and this ends up being a turnover. But he had 14 points. Ironically, was only -3, so one of the lowest plus minuses on the team. One guy that had a lower plus minus was James Wiseman. 13 minutes only, 3 for 6, 7 rebounds in 13 minutes. That is awesome. As awesome as it is that Duran has 17 rebounds in 34 minutes, that's Wiseman would have 14, and he'd have even 15 probably rebounds, and if he did the same percentages. So he had 1 assist, 6 points, -2. Fournier made some shots. He was 16 minutes, 4 for 8, so it was good to have him make some shots. But he was 1 for 6 on threes. Well, I mean, excuse me. He was 1 for 5 on threes. But he was 3 for 3 from the line, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 12 points, -8. We just need a better bench. We just need more players. So our starters did not play good tonight. I mean, Fontecchio played great, and Duran had a good game. But, the starters did not play well. But our bench is not good enough. And so I'm not complaining about how he's trying to stagger, and he's not playing as many players, and he's cutting back on some guys' minutes, and he's playing the young guys. But it does hurt. So if 2 of your top 8 players, which I think they are, 2 of our top 8 players, Grimes and Ausar, and they're our 2 best defenders, and they didn't play. So what is that? That's hard. But again, a lot of teams we've played have injured guys. But we need more players. Even if Ausar and Grimes were healthy, we still need to add some players, and we got to do that this offseason. We have to pick up some good players that are quality players. We need to pick up 2 quality rotation players. Hopefully some guys can play defense and block shots and shoot threes. And of course, everybody in the league needs that kind of player. But Zachary Ricochet is my guy, my number 1 guy at the draft. And some of my listeners don't want us to take him. Why? Because he's from France, and Sekou Demoya was from France, and Killing was from France. So they don't take any French guys because they're bad. And my answer to them is, so you wouldn't take Victor? And so anyway, I think that he would be a great fit for us, and I think he has a lot of upside. He's 6'9", he can shoot the 3, he can play defense, and so we'll see what happens though. But anyway, I don't have a lot to go on tonight. It's too bad. Juwan Howard, I think that he probably should have been fired, but it's too bad because he was one of the Fab 5, and we had hopes for him. Congratulations to the Lions. Extended the GM Brad Holmes, and they extended Coach Dan Campbell. So good for the Lions. I want to thank you all for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Be the reason that somebody feels cared for and wanted, and go Pistons.